I will start by asking School Chaplain Bob Ganung to ask us to stand together for a prayer of convocation.
Please rise. Let us join our hearts and minds together. Time of prayer, let us pray. Almighty God, the fountain of wisdom and the giver of every perfect gift, with whom all things become holy and complete, send your blessing upon the Taft School today and guide us through the coming academic year. Enable us by your grace as teachers and coaches and dorm parents to fulfill our roles faithfully as we devote ourselves to this noble work with care, integrity, and love. Empower each student to work hard, to take ownership of their academic lives, and to stay open in heart and mind. Gracious God, guide us as we begin this year's work of shaping the Taft family into a community that is dynamic, resilient, beautiful, and bold. Challenge us as teachers and students alike to take the kind of risks that will enable us to grow, mature, and realize our potential. Move us beyond the boundaries of our comfort zones to meet new people, build new relationships, explore new ideas, and ask new questions. We pray together that the seeds of learning and virtue, the seeds of kindness and compassion sown here today, may bring forth abundant fruit in the lives of every student. Remind us that everything in this magnificent and mysterious universe is interconnected, and that we are dependent upon all things for our very existence and survival. Help us then to use our educated minds and hearts to become better caretakers of this creation, starting here with our work in the Taft community, within the Taft family. For we have come into this world not to be served, but to serve. These and all other blessings we humbly ask in your holy name, O living God of all the people. Amen.
Thank you, Bob, and welcome all of you. You did a pretty good job of coming in here. Not perfect. It seemed actually the new students found their seats better than the old students. But it's great to be back. I was here on campus a number of times this summer, and it just doesn't feel right when we don't have the halls filled with all of you. And part of the energy, of course, comes from the fact that there's so many new students and new faculty here, and all of you who come and join this place really bring a particular energy and freshness and newness. And to that end, what I'd like to do is, if you are a new student, I'd like you to stand so we can all acknowledge you and welcome you. So if you're new, please stand. Great. And I think in turn I'd like to ask the new faculty, and it's an incredible group that's joined us. I'd like the new faculty to stand, and you all and all of us welcome them to Taft. So. I will offer some remarks, but I want to make a couple of quick announcements as well as we get started. One is, and I mentioned this yesterday, and you heard it shared by the head monitors, this is a very special place. It's a gathering, community gathering place for us. When we come in, there are really two kinds of events, and I address this mainly to new students. There are school meetings like this, which are a serious nature, where a faculty member, a student, a visiting speaker, someone like that will address you. And then we have assemblies, which Mr. Carlson and Ms. Sanborn run. Those tend to be more announcements, skits, a little more informal and spirited. Either way, there are ways in which we bring the whole school together. Just a few things. Leave your backpacks outside. They'll be there when you come back. Find your seat as quickly as you can. Don't be yelling across the auditorium. And when we leave by having the seniors exit first. Seniors are the leaders of the school, and we demonstrate our respect for that tradition by them exiting first, and then the upper mids, and then the mids. Another point I'd make is a number of you asked about things that have been going on this summer, and just very quickly so you know, I'll give you an update because your parents asked and some of you asked as well. If you live in Mack House, you saw that we've done a lot of renovations there. That's the first of a two-phase project. We've done a lot of work that you don't see, the pipes, wiring, and things like that, and also renovation of new apartments and the basement floor. That's exciting. Some of you will see Laube Auditorium, which is in the library. It's a beautiful sort of lecture hall that we've totally renovated, and you'll see that if your teachers take you there. Anyone taking a modern language will see that we've completely redone the modern language lab. That will be known as the Pinto Family Language Lab, named in honor of the family that was generous enough to give us the gift. So you'll be going in there shortly, and I think the language department is thrilled with it. You'll see that we've done new tennis courts and are building a pavilion around the courts. We can't get on them just yet, but I would think by the end of next week, we hope to be close enough in the construction area cleaned up, so you'll be able to get on there. And then finally, some of you know that we've moved the IT offices. They're more centrally located. They're right at that T, right below the main hall, and we've created new offices and a new classroom in A&H. So a lot has been going on. I also would tell you that there are a few new roles that you'll soon enough know about, but I'll just mention them to you. So Ms. Sanborn is now the Associate Dean of Students, and Ms. Zakara is the Associate Dean of Faculty. Ms. Lee is the Dean of Multicultural Affairs. These are people you know from last year. And there's several new class deans, Ms. Riley and Ms. Guidati, Ms. Lenz, now Ms. Guidati, and Mr. Clifford. So you'll see some new people and new faces, and I'm really excited about beginning this year. So let me make a few remarks about the year, and actually go backwards a little bit in order to go forward. And I want to talk about something that's going to dominate the news over the next few days. And as I say that, you can imagine what it is, what it means to live in the post 9/11 era. I look at you and I think of the faculty behind me, and I think we could write a remarkable book ourselves if we collected all of our recollections and our memories from the day. And of course, you were all ranging from somewhere from 4 or 5 years old to 8 or 9 years old, and I don't know what your memories are. They may be mixed and confused, and perhaps some odd moments of seeing adults act in a way that you'd never seen before. You were young. My colleagues, of course, are much more varied in age, and their memories, I think, are probably absolutely sharp as glass, and in some cases just as painful. It was a day that will mark our generation and all of us. I've never really publicly spoken about that day. I don't know quite why. I think it took me a long time to make sense of it, and I don't want to do so too much today. But I think there are parts of it that we can carry forward. There are parts that are like a piece of coal. There's something glowing that we might carry with us. And what happened was this, we welcomed new students, just like yesterday, on the 10th. And it was a glorious day. It was sunny. We met in the quad. New families met advisors and deans and teachers. I welcomed everybody in the quad, and parents were lugging things into dorms and going through the whole gamut of emotions, the excitement and fear and nervousness of leaving their child. And the next day, that is today, was September 11th. And I had prepared some remarks to make, as you would guess, just as I do now. And in those days, school meeting was at 10. And I'd been in my office that morning polishing the remarks and looking them over. Of course, I wasn't watching any news. Who would? I was in my office. There's no TV there, and I wouldn't be thinking of that. And I was walking down here just to check the microphones, and Mr. Frew ran up to me, and he grabbed me and said, Willie, I don't know if you heard, but a plane just hit one of the World Trade Centers. And probably like many people, I thought, what the hell's a little Cessna plane doing flying around Lower Manhattan? And so I turned around and I went to Mr. Davis's office, and we turned a TV on. There was a small TV in the duty office. And we looked at it, and as we looked at it, and you all remember those iconic images, the first tower just crumbled. And he knew it before I did. He, an engineer, knew right away and said, they're all gone. Every one of them is gone. And we came out of that office and knew that the world had changed forever. Now, I'd written the remarks during the summer. I knew what I wanted to suggest. I wanted to suggest that there was a particular relevance to the work that we do here, to the world that we lived in. And my argument was, one that's probably familiar, and I hardly copyright it, and that is that the work we do at this school was critically important because the world that you're going to enter is so connected and small. I wanted to argue that the creation of the community here and all that you would experience was going to prepare you in a singular way to enter not just college, but the world that you're going to enter. That is, if you did not treat Taft as a rehearsal, and if you did not see that the problem solving you'll have to do here, and the ability to work through challenges, and the connections with people from all over the world, if you didn't take advantage of that, you would be unprepared to succeed. And I wanted to argue that what we do, simply by virtue of being this school, would be perfect would be intensely relevant, would be critical to developing the skills you need. I also wanted to suggest something a little bit more subtle, and that was not just that this was practice. I wanted to say that the very act of doing what we do, that is, the annual creating of a community, and it's dynamic and messy and unpredictable, all of that work might actually serve as a metaphor for what the world needed. It wasn't just practice. It might be seen as a symbol. It wasn't just that this was what you would learn, it would be what you would become. And I wanted to make that argument. So I went back to what I wrote that day. To be frank, I'd never done that. And let me quote in part from what I said. I made some comments about how important honor was at Taft, and then I run on to say, I think after honor, respect for others marks this community most strongly. We are a thrilling place, many-hued and multi-ethnic. And you will walk by a student from a world utterly unlike yours and with a life experience completely foreign. You're a white girl from Watertown or Darien or San Francisco. Perhaps your roommate is from Botswana or Hong Kong or Thailand. You're a Jewish boy from Connecticut. Perhaps your best friend is an Episcopalian in focus. You're a straight upper mid, and across the table is a gay boy. I dream of scenes like this. I think we all should. We have to do more than just tolerate each other. It's a word that is freighted with superiority and reluctance. And there are practical reasons for this argument, of course, that you will enter multicultural colleges and to be able to work with people unlike you. And further, when you enter the work world, you will quickly see that if you're unable to work with people with brown, white, yellow, and red skin, and people who pray in a church, a synagogue, a temple, and people who are gay and straight, if you cannot do that, you will perish. Once there was a time when this was not the case. Once you could maybe remain in your tiny corner of the world, whether that was rural Georgia or fundamentalist Afghanistan, and you could never venture out. But those days are gone. Today and here, with the globe shrunk by the changes in transportation and linked tight by technology, you have to work with, understand, accept, and celebrate each other. That's what I wrote on that day. And I delivered those words, and of course at that time, not entirely clear what was happening. I remember saying to this group, we know something terrible has happened. We know that many lives have been lost. We don't have any idea. But I knew that I believed that then, and I believed it now, that the work we do is absolutely vital. I just think I believe it even more. Those attacks were intended to take lives and destroy property, but they were really something else. They were an assault from the tribal Middle Ages onto a 21st century sensibility. They were a violent attempt not just to arrest time, but indeed to reverse it. The attacks were an assertion of radical isolationism, a refusal to join the modern and networked world, and they failed in the aftermath because a funny thing happened, and it happened everywhere, and it happened here. In the aftermath, as a world and as a school, we became more tightly connected, not less so. And as painful as that day was, Taft was never a greater place. We gathered again that day at 1:30 in this room. The faculty gathered in the faculty room afterwards, and we talked about what we needed to do. And here we prayed, we sang, we reflected. But that was the one and only thing that was different that we did. Otherwise, we got right to work. We went to practices, we had study hall, we went to sit-down dinner, we had classes the next day. We had, in a way, this kind of fierce refusal to stop the horror from preventing the work we have to do. Heck, we were Taft, we were saying. We're a great school, we're starting a new year, we have a spirit that can't be extinguished, and nothing was going to stop us from becoming what we deserve to be. And that was the sense, I think, that the faculty had and the students as well. There were informal gatherings in dormitories. A lot of advisors and advisees got together to talk. Colleagues, all those behind me, they all reached out to each other because a lot of us had friends in New York City and Washington, D.C., and many lost friends and people they loved. There's a couple here in the faculty that had a son who was working in the financial district. He managed to call his parents, telling them he could see people jumping from the towers. A lot of people reached out to that couple. Another had good friends who called from their apartment, "Tell me what's happening. All I see is smoke and I hear is fire trucks, and I can't get a signal." Alumni checked in, and we kept tallying the update. They would call and say, "So-and-so's okay, I just heard from her." "No, we haven't heard from so-and-so, but I'll let you know if we do." Graduates from the 1940s called that day saying, "We were there when Pearl Harbor was attacked. We're there for you. How are you doing?" That afternoon, I was walking outside. I was still coaching soccer the day, and I went out to the field. And there was a Taft father of a boy who had graduated from Taft about 5 years before that, and he had played soccer. And the father was wandering this field alone, eyes red. I thought, why are you out here? And he said, Mr. Mack, my son spent 4 years here. He works in the towers. Don't worry, he's okay. But you know why? He was late getting to work because he stopped to get a box of Rice Krispies because he had nothing for breakfast, so he missed the bus and he got there late. Freaking Rice Krispies. What do I do with that? I'm trying to figure that out. Parents called. They were scared and angry and numb, and a number of them said, we just feel lucky. That's the safest place we know. Students and teachers walked down to churches. Dorm teachers were up late. A lot of them, I found out the next day, without me asking, stayed up far into the night, peering into rooms to make sure students were asleep. Cell phones weren't working consistently, and we had trouble talking to many people, particular parents. Senior monitors were sitting down with lower mids saying, don't worry, that call's going to come through. You're going to be okay. One girl lost an uncle in the first plane. That was our most direct casualty. And she was surrounded by friends and teachers. She couldn't get home, and this was the home for her at that time. And when the last parent was accounted for, the last one, I remember sitting in my office and with a number of teachers, and students ran down the hallway saying, Jenny's mom is okay. We just heard from her. She's okay. We were never stronger or closer than we were, and maybe that's what we should aspire to be each day. Never was the value of our community, of a shared concern for each other, of a conviction that we're only as strong as our ties, of a belief that we're part of something larger than ourselves. Never was it more apparent. Here and everywhere, I think we felt connected. So the world changed in so many ways that day, but in one especially, in the way in which, as small and connected as we were on September 11th, we were more so on the 12th. We would become even more so in the years ahead. Landlines were taken over by cell phones. Facebook and Twitter didn't exist and would soon after that. No one texted, and now you can every moment. 9/11 may not have created an interconnected globe, but it certainly hastened it. 9/11 didn't make Taft a close community, but it certainly enhanced it. There is an incredible irony in this, of course, that a radical terrorist who wanted to destroy us ended up serving as a catalyst for connection. In a world like this, the importance of a place like Taft, I think, has never been greater. That you'll get a terrific education and have amazing extracurricular opportunities goes without saying. But more than that, you'll be part of creating a great community. It is not that complicated, but it is hard work. There's one big thing you need to do, and I say this to all of you, in particular the seniors who lead us. You've all got individual goals for the year, but one that we have to have in common is this, that each of you will be an active citizen committed to ensuring that ours is a learning community which allows everybody the opportunity to thrive and grow. No one in this room has the opportunity to say, I'm going to decline that. I don't think I want to do that. Every one of us has to do that, and we need each other. And we need all of you to say, you know what, teachers and students, we are so fortunate to be here. It is a privilege. There is something bigger than me, and I will do what I can to make this place work. And then I'd suggest there's 3 really simple things you can do. And they have to do with creating a community. Follow the rules. Big ones, small ones. You're not going to like all of them. We need them to be an ordered and functioning community. Follow the rules. Second, be honest. Okay? Nothing matters more than that. Without honor, the hell, we should just go home if we don't have that here. Tell the truth. Hand in your work, your own work. Don't cheat. Third, be nice. Being a bully, being cruel, making fun of people in life or online, it's not going to make you popular. It's not accepted here. Now, you may say, it's funny. Wait a minute. Why are you taking those 3 things and connecting them in some way to what it is to be a networked and close and connected community? Something as powerful and complicated as 9/11, how are they together? They are absolutely together. If we do those 3 things together, right? If we do those 3 together, if we all say, I am privileged to be here, and it is my responsibility to make this place work, we can be the community that we yearn to be. That terrible day showed us what this place can be, and it was very special, and it was very beautiful. I like to think of this year as the one that I dedicate to the place we were on September 11th in 2001, and the one that we will become in the months ahead. That's my dedication, and that's the work I'm going to be doing, and I hope all of you will join me in. And so it's with a great, great sense of excitement that I welcome you to Taft for our 2011 and 2012 year. Have a great start. I look forward to seeing you, and all of you new students, I particularly welcome you and look forward to coming to know you. Thank you.